Salutations, my dudes. So I don't even freaking know where to start with this movie. Hey guys, so I saw The Last Jedi and I am a little bit enthusiastic. So this is a video review of The Last Jedi that just came out, and if you haven't seen it, you will be spoiled. So I would recommend watching it. I feel that this movie is a very polarizing movie in the fact that it definitely sways from the traditional Star Wars movie, and I feel that you either love it or you dislike it. I am on the team of love. I got so many things that I didn't even know I wanted in this film. There were some things I do agree that could have been not there, but I can see why certain elements were placed within the film. I thought the pacing, it got a tiny bit weird, like kind of when we go to Canto Bight. I felt that there was two movies throughout the movie. So we have the story of Rey, Kylo, and Luke, and then we have the story of like Finn, Poe, Rose, and like the Resistance, and then kind of come together at the end, but it's definitely like two different things, and I felt like the storylines were juggled fairly well throughout the film. We got canon sexual tension. I read an article today on Twitter and it was called The Last Jedi is the sexiest Star Wars film ever, or something like that, and I have to agree. There was some palatable sexual tension, and they went in some bold and mysterious places like the titty milk monster and Maz Kanata alluding to boning the codebreaker. And like, when you think of that, it's so the thing with Poe and Hux to start off with, freaking hilarious. Like, I was not expecting like that kind of Guardians of the Galaxy sort of like banter, and like just to start it off with like something kind of funny like that, I felt it really set the tone of Hux being the butt of so many jokes and everyone else just like fucking with him. And anytime he tries to be any sort of like authority figure, like in The Force Awakens, it's like he was very serious and like stern and like an actually fearful character almost, and then in this movie we've just taken that aspect totally off the table and he's just kind of like the butt of the jokes, which is an interesting dynamic change. I like Hux a lot better because the threat is neutralized and now he's just the ginger kid that everyone just kicks. Poe, he kind of had a very good, you know, character-y development, and you see him go from hot-headed douche to slightly less hot-headed douche. He learned you can't do things guns blazing because your underlings will die. So Rose's sister, I am forgetting her name. So the battle scene was interesting. As soon as you saw like all the first bombers kind of like, get hit, it's just like in a succession, you know, they're gonna get fucked. They did. But I was surprised that they killed off Rose's sister, because for whatever reason in my head going into the film, I thought that there was going to be like this sister love dynamic thing. You only see Rose's sister for like a minute of the film, but the minute that you did get, I thought she was humanized and you felt for her, so that was cool. Then we have the stuff with Rey and Luke on Octo. Oh man, okay, the frickin' titty milk monster alien? Luke is trying to be like, look, I'm so gross and disgusting, go away, you frickin' noob. But the frickin' titty milk didn't need to see that. And just like the way he just kind of like looks around and he's just like, yeah, you see that? That's happening right now. Then we have the thing when Kylo is about to shoot the ship and like where his Leia and all the generals are. He hesitated, and I'm glad that they didn't have him kill his mom, because he killed his dad. He can't freaking kill his mom too. That's not how you get a good redemption arc. I'll talk about that later. I'm glad someone else did it for him, so there was like some moral happening. And then freaking Leia uses the freaking Force. I was so surprised. I never thought I would see them have Leia blatantly using the Force, and it makes so much sense because she's obviously Force sensitive. If you read some of the canon novels, I mean, she's so connected like to the Force. Before this movie, I always thought it was very unfair that Luke got to get frickin' trained. Sorry, I'm saying frickin' a lot, I don't know. Luke got to get trained, but Leia didn't. And she could have had the same potential as Luke if she had that chance. So I thought it was like awesome that they were able to add that little bit in. And I know a lot of people were like not into that scene at all, but I was just like, heck no. This is awesome. She's using the Force, and I thought that when that happened originally, I thought, okay, this is where they kill off Leia, because of course Carrie Fisher has passed away, but they didn't. She gets put into a coma, and like Admiral Akbar is no longer, but it really kind of helps show like all the old characters are slowly dying off. Goodbye, past trilogy. We're moving and focusing on the main. So going back to Rey and Luke, their dynamic was funny. I knew like going into the film that he was gonna be like, no, I can't train you. And she'd be like, train me, I'm a freaking noob. I thought those weird little frog ladies in the white dresses were fun. The way that Rey just like persistently was just like, wham bam, deuces, my dude, you gotta train me. And then when she goes down to like the little Jedi tree thing and sees the books, one thing, can Rey read? I mean, we see her swimming and I'm like, how can she know how to swim? She is from a desert planet with no water, and in no way would she know how to swim unless there's like a weird watering hole that people bathe in, but I doubt it because it's freaking Jakku. So I didn't know how she could swim when she fell in the water. I don't think she can read. Like, why would she be, like, who would have taught her to read? Like, I'm pretty sure being a scavenger, like, surf in a serfdom you're not gonna get educated, so how is she supposed to read the Jedi text? That, maybe it will be addressed, maybe it will not be. And then Luke's like, I guess I can train you, but the Jedi fucking suck. They suck, you don't want to be a Jedi, the Jedi need to die. Of course he trains her and she's like all dope at the lightsaber and her weird metal stick of salvaged parts. And he's just like, whoa, you remind me of Ben, I failed Ben. And then the frickin' Jedi Force bond. Ever since the first movie, I shipped Reylo. I was adamant, Rey cannot be a Skywalker, no way. This is gonna be canon, like I feel it in my bones. And the Force bond was very sexually tensiony. When we first see them, she can see him and he can see her but not her surroundings, but I'm pretty sure she could see his surroundings. Moving to the end of the movie when Luke dies, I know a lot of people were kind of like, oh, but how did he die? But I'm pretty sure like we got some Freddy foreshadowing. When the Force bond first starts, Kylo's kind of like, oh, you couldn't be doing this. If you were doing it, you'd be dead, like if you're projecting yourself. So I feel that was just kind of like some foreshadowing for when Luke projects himself and then he dies. So that may or may not be the case, but that was the gist that I got. Speaking of sexual tension, I did not feel the sexual tension of Rose and Poe. I liked their weird little like dynamic, and I felt very like they were very like dope friends. I did not feel any like chemistry between the two, which I kind of wish there was more. So hopefully like in the next movie we do get a little bit more of like a romantic feeling. Like obviously they kissed, or Rose kissed him. And then another thing, when we kind of go on to Canto Bight, I felt that was very Star Trek-y. Like it really didn't, that part didn't feel like Star Wars to me. I feel that it served its purpose, which is that every plan that the Resistance did, it failed miserably. And I think that was also kind of showing Poe that if he like does the right thing and perseveres, that he too can be the hero, because he spends the entire first part of this movie wanting to run away. And so there's some nice character development with Rose propping him up, being like, I see you as a good person and now you have to see yourself as a good person, and this is how you be a good person, by not running away from your problems but standing up for what you believe in. And that's what he does. And so all the main characters definitely get a good story arc, because you see them at the beginning, definitely character development. Going back to Rey and Luke, I really liked how they portrayed the Force. Like, this is the first real Force explanation that I can recall that really just like shows the Force in a tangible way. And I really liked that when Rey is getting in tune with the Force, you see the life and then you also see death. And I feel, because obviously life and death is a huge part of Star Wars, I like how they showed the Force not as this magical like woo-woo thing that just kind of happens, and you see Rey thinking that that's what it is, and then she really kind of like gets the nitty-gritty gist of what it is to be a Jedi and what it is to, well, not necessarily to be a Jedi, but what it means to be a Force user. And I feel that the movie did a really good job of being like, the Jedi kind of dicks, but instead take the good bits and then let's just kind of push away all that weird stuff. And I liked the morally gray theme of the movie, where it's just kind of like, you're not bad, but you're not good, and you're not good, but you're not bad, but we're all just 50 shades of gray and sexual tension. So then we get fucking Yoda. So I didn't get any spoilers for this movie, and thank God. I think there was a bit of spoilers going around about Yoda being in the film, and I liked that they used the puppet. I'm glad it wasn't CGI, and I liked his bizarro attitude. So first movie, he's crazy, senile old dude, and like then we get the prequels, and he's just not. So I like that they went back to crazy, zany Yoda. It's just really coming full circle of Luke and Yoda's just like talking him down, and Luke's like, I'm gonna fucking burn this to the ground. You don't know then, but Rey took the books out of there, because later in the movie you see when Poe is getting a blanket for Rose, you see all the Jedi texts in the Millennium Falcon. So Yoda knows that the books aren't in there, but Luke doesn't, and so Luke thinks he's doing this big bold thing. Yoda comes in and he's just like, you know what, let's just frickin' burn it all down. And then they have this great bonding moment, and it really is just like the turning point of Luke being like, maybe I should help? Yes, I should help. And so I really thought that was like a powerful moment. So going back to Rey and Kylo's Force bond, I don't know if I believe that Snoke is the one that made the Force bond. So the fight scene in Snoke's chambers, best scene in the movie in my opinion. I loved the enemies becoming friends sort of situation and fighting together against a common enemy. It was great. Snoke was all like pompous, and he was just like reading Kylo and being like, oh yeah, you're resolving to kill her, fuck that bitch. But then he, of course, is actually resolving to kill Snoke. And he's just so up his own ass that he doesn't realize it, and then the old cut-a-rooney. And then they have to fight the Praetorian guards that look like lobsters, very skilled lobsters, and I love the weapons that they had. That was visually like one of the coolest fights that I have seen in a long while. Just the way that like Rey and Kylo just were so vibing together, it was great. And then he's all just like, I need you, join me. We'll start anew from the ashes that rise like a phoenix, blah, blah, blah. And then Rey's like, no, I can't, because I like to not have people die. And then they fight over the lightsaber, and then it snaps in half, and I'm like convinced that now that Rey has the snapped in half lightsaber, I think she's gonna take the crystals and turn it into a double-edged lightsaber. Rey has her staff. That is like pretty much her main fighting thing for like a huge portion of the movie, so I think for sure, she's gonna take the crystals and then get crafted a lightsaber that is just like Darth Maul's, but like it's gonna be blue, I guess. It's gonna be double-ended, and it's gonna be like she's fighting with her staff, but it's gonna be her lightsaber, and it's gonna be hers. So we get on to Crait. The Vulptexes were so cute. They sound like a Pokemon, they look like a Pokemon, and they tingle like beautiful little forest fairies, and they're so cute. That whole fight scene, visually stunning. The use of red in this film is just top notch. So when Luke appeared, I thought it was such a weird scene. It was very eerie and weird, and I was like, is he there? He can't be there because no one was reacting to him. And then he like appeared to Leia, and I was like, did Luke die? Why is he, can everyone else see him? And he also looked different. He looked exactly the way he looked when we get the Kylo flashback of like Kylo thinking he's gonna kill him. So I was like, oh, when did he freaking dye his beard and get all fresh to death? Like, that's weird. He must be like not there. But then everyone else started like seeing him and being like, oh my god, it's Luke Skywalker. And I was like, maybe he is there, and I didn't question it. But upon further reflection, according to Reddit, he walks out, Kylo loses his absolute shit. He's just like, I gotta fight that dude. He doesn't die from the barrage of gunfire, which was weird on itself, and I was just like, ah, it's the Force, ah, it can do anything. And then Kylo goes down to fight him, and when they focus on the feet, Kylo, his feet like slide on the ice, and when the ice moves, you see the red underneath, but Luke's feet doesn't do that. There's no footprints, there's no red movement, and I didn't catch that, but people on Reddit showed me and I was like, oh. So that's like a foreshadowing of, surprise, he's not actually there. And going back to what I said earlier, he stalls them enough and gives them time to run away, and then Luke passes away because of the strain of projecting himself across the galaxy just was too fucking hard. So that kind of sucked. Then surprise, where's the freaking Voltexes? They're in the rocks. And then Rey comes to the rescue with Chewbacca and the frickin' Porgs, lifts the rocks. Classic Star Wars, everyone's got to lift some rocks, and then she gets introduced to Poe. I mean, it makes sense, they literally never interacted, which is weird because it's the very end of the second movie, and they've never interacted in their main characters, so I thought that was funny. They're like, yo dog, I'm Poe. Hey, I'm Rey. Leia is still alive, but I have no idea how they're gonna write that away, because Carrie Fisher, of course, has passed away. I don't know if I talked about the Porgs, but the freaking scene with Chewbacca eating the Porgs, amazing. But so then we get the Finn and Phasma situation. I thought Phasma was going to be a bigger character than she was, so that was a little bit of like a letdown. She's just kind of like, well bam, I got you, FN, what's his number? Damn it. FN 192? Fuck. They have their little fight, he wins, and then BB-8 kills like so many people in this movie. Sentient robots will destroy us all in the form of an adorable round rolling delight. So that I can get behind. And then at the very end, we have the little boy from Canto Bight who helps release the weird space horse race animal things, and he uses the Force to grab the broom, and then he has his resistance pin, and it's just like this little beacon of hope that the new generation looking forward is still a part of the resistance. The Force is still there. Whether they're Jedi or not, people still can connect to this magical Force and will potentially move past their station in life, just like Luke Skywalker did. And I don't know, I thought it was a great ending. I thought it was good. I have no idea how they're gonna do the Carrie Fisher thing. I like Leia. If you read the Leia book by Claudia Gray that just came out, I fell in love with Leia even more because you see her and you see her with Holdo growing up. And the Holdo we got in the movie was not the Holdo we got in the book. The her in the books was a little bit of a crazy Luna Lovegood sort of situation. And in this movie, she was good, she was sassy, she didn't take none of that Poe Dameron shit, and then she was just like clucking like hens with Leia at the end, being like, oh, I like him, he's sassy. Even though she didn't tell everyone what they were doing, she like knew what she was doing. She jumped into light speed and freaking space kamikaze this giant ship. Why has that not happened before? Why does everyone not just do that? Like, would that not make logical sense to just, I guess you would kill everybody on board and that'd be shitty, but I feel that'd be a really effective war strategy. So I wonder if they'll do that more. Who knows? But it was cool, and it was dead silent. I thought there was a good amount of humor, but there was a good amount of porgs. I'm glad they weren't like gratuitous. They weren't like a Jar Jar Binks or an Ewok sort of thing, and it was just the right amount of funniness. I'm so excited to watch it again and like see other things that I might have missed in the first viewing of the film. I loved it. So good. I understand it's not everybody's cup of tea, but my ship got slightly more canon. There is so much fan fiction that will be pouring into this world. Rian Johnson, you did a good job. You did a good job. I have a lot of predictions for what is going to happen in episode 9, and I have no idea how I'm going to wait 2 years to see the conclusion. But yeah, so overall, loved the movie. Let me know your comments of the movie down below. Have you seen it? Well, I mean, hopefully this is a spoiler review. If you watch this and you haven't seen this, I mean, you're a madman. Porg movie 2017 was good, and I'm obsessed with porgs now. I got this for my birthday before the movie, and like as soon as I saw what they looked like, I'm like, I know I'm gonna love these little bastards. I love these little bastards. But yeah, so my name is Sarah. Thank you so much for watching this review, and I'll see you soon with some video in the future. Yes. Yes.